This chair allows you to sit and stand and do both at the same time for maximum blood flow. It adjusts for you, so you can continue to work without ever leaving your flow state. The standout feature is what they call Flamingo Mode, where you're kinda half sitting and half standing, alternating legs before either one fatigues. But of course you can also have it alternate between full sit and full stand modes, or rotate around all of the above. There's a physical button you can tap, but if you want it to regularly switch for you, you can choose your position and desired interval using their app. When it's time to switch, the chair's built-in haptics will vibrate and let you know which leg needs to adjust, and the chair will never actually drop you. It waits for you to release your weight once you sense the vibrating, and then it adjusts. So it definitely has that wow factor that intrigued me, but why is it important for us to move while we're working? I posed that question to the guy who made the chair.
So with back pain, it turns out the discs in your spine don't have a direct blood supply. The way they get taken care of in nutrients is through the porous vertebrae. And simply by moving, it's how oxygen reaches the discs and keeps them healthy. And turns out there's lots of science and research now that shows, originally they thought, well, you should move every 45 minutes. And that helped a little bit. But it turns out the more and more frequently we can move, it just keeps getting better and better for our health. So really it's down to like 5 to 10 minutes is what our body actually needs.
As a freelance filmmaker, I live at my desk. Even if I don't have actual editing work to do, I'll be scripting or answering emails, or more than I'd like to admit, watching gear reviews on YouTube. That's why last year I became obsessed with optimizing the ergonomics of my setup. I tried adding some lumbar support to my comfy office chair because it was giving me lower back pain when I sat for anything longer than 2 hours. Unfortunately, I was yet to be introduced to Movably, but I did a bunch of research into the existing office chair brands, visited all the showrooms, and eventually, finally, pulled the trigger and cheaped out and bought this $200 mesh Staples chair. So that chair was like 10% the cost of those top tier office chair brands, but it's essentially the same thing, an adjustable ergonomic office chair, just the budget version. Movably is a totally different thing though. Here's Mark again to explain more.
Whereas in the past, I think we've thought about ergonomic chairs on these dimensions of adjustable and comfortable. So we're looking for a chair that has those two aspects. But if you think about it, those are the exact things that put you in this one static posture you're going to hold the longest. And that's actually the problem.
So Movably Pro's Flamingo Mode definitely does take some getting used to. The first few days had the insides of my butt cheeks feeling a little tender while using the chair. My body then became accustomed to it after like a week or so, but I personally found the sit-stand loops to be my favorite on like a 2 to 3 minute interval, which will feel much more physically familiar. Just way more convenient because you don't have to wait for everything to raise or lower to switch positions. And for me personally, the convenience is the difference between actually deciding to switch to a standing position or just continuing to work. My first few days using these loops, when the chair would move, I would think, wow, did 3 minutes already go by? I feel like I didn't do any work since I last moved. But after using the chair day in and day out, I became accustomed to it and stopped noticing the chair entirely. And importantly, when I did eventually leave my desk, I didn't feel like I had to stretch my body back into position because I hadn't been stationary for more than 3 minutes at a time all day. And even when I was in the fully seated position, I still had good posture because of the perfect curve that they have on the backrest. And that brings me to my favorite part of this chair, which is the backrest, but not when I'm sitting, when I'm fully standing. It allows me to stand much longer and much more comfortably than I otherwise could.
I never use my standing desk on standing, but I feel like if I had something to lean against, I would. Because normally when I stand at my standing desk, I literally am standing like this.
So this chair is a prototype, version 4 to be exact. Version 5 is what will ship to customers probably at the end of this year. So not everything is final, but here are my current criticisms. The foot pad is awesome, super cushy, but there's zero padding on the footrest. Second, I really do wish that the power supply was somehow built into the base. As a big fan of cable management, this 2-cord solution with the brick in the middle kind of bummed me out. Mark told me that I was not the first person to bring this up, and because of that, the final will be shipping with a much smaller power brick, similar in size to a laptop brick, but they're also looking into a completely rechargeable option that would have no cables at all that might be available in the future. And one more thing that will change between this prototype and the one that ships is adjustable lumbar support. Mark told me that it's been requested consistently enough in surveys that they're going to be adding it to the model that ships. The Movably Pro, which they are launching first, retails for $2,500. But the pre-order price is $500 less than that, and with my promo code, you can also get $500 less than that. At least the first 100 people who claim it can. So I originally found out about this company because a friend of mine who was aware of my quest for the perfect ergonomic office chair sent me a link to a post that this company made on a forum looking for test users to give them feedback on a current prototype, and offered a substantial discount to those who wanted to pre-order the chair after testing it. So I tested it for 2 weeks, I thought, I can't live without this, and I placed a pre-order. So the company knew that I did video production, and they suggested that if I was interested, I could make a YouTube video about the chair, something I told them I was planning to do already because it was so cool. But as a thank you, they offered to reimburse me for my pre-order and offer me a promo code to share with my audience so that you could save some money and I could possibly earn a commission. So when the final chair ships to customers, I will receive one, and I will not have paid for it. But a few months ago, I did decide to pay for one. So there's all the information to judge my biases. Currently, I am just thrilled by the fact that when I'm really sucked into an edit, I never have to do this. Again.